say you shouldn't be together, like nothing. Like I mean, I'm sorry I did that voice.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. You're watching the
Brieman Family.
We appreciate you watching. We got a fun video for you today. We get a bunch of questions from our family and friends asking us how it is being married in an interracial relationship. So we've had to, oblige a lot of people in explaining, a few things in our relationship before. And we figure we just go ahead and preview to, what we have going on as well. Hopefully you guys will learn something from it, and if nothing else, find it entertaining today.
Yeah, we hope you guys do. And yeah, some of the questions we got from just like experience and just us being in our relationship, and others were some popular questions that we saw, like when we did the search online, we saw a couple of common themes and common questions that people wanted to know. And so we added those, and here's our little baby girl here. Say hi.
Hi.
What were you doing?
Watching the show.
Yeah, so where did we meet?
Okay.
How did we meet?
Okay, how we met. We met at work, and I wasn't supposed to work there, and you weren't supposed to. We were gonna take different paths in life. But I think fate kind of brought us together. I was planning on moving back to my hometown, and I never applied to the job, just received a random call from a temp agency. I filled out an application with like a year prior, and they said they had a sales position for me. And I was like, okay. I was working as a car salesman at the time, and went through the interview process, got the job, and then I started working there. And like probably my first week, I had like a colleague of mine that was in an interracial relationship with a girl from Africa, like similar to me. And so we were just talking, and so he was Cole's friend, and so he just introduced us one day, and he said, no, this is Cole, this is not. And that was it. From then on, we barely spoke to each other.
Yeah, we didn't even speak after that.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, whatever.
But it got to some point at the workplace where we both worked the same shift, generally. We worked a late night shift, and in the office, people tended to leave out. More and more people leave out as later as it gets, and we would always be some of the last people in the office. Mm-hmm. So we got used to sort of talking to each other, and especially at the end of the night when it slows down, you find that camaraderie, and so we developed a friendship more than anything, to start with. And then it just found a spark. And
no, because even then I was still dating someone, so I was not really into Cole. Cole was just that coworker at work that I just, okay, bye, time to go. Bye, Cole, have a good one.
Yeah.
When we're there, we'll talk, and we'll, it's like, what's your goals in life now? I'm like, okay, that's deep, but let me answer that. And like, I'll ask him questions as well, like, what's your plans for, what are your plans for this year or this summer? And he was about to go backpacking in Brazil. I'm glad you didn't go to Brazil. I'm glad you stayed right here.
Yeah. I've been still in Brazil.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but anyway, I never went because it just didn't work out. They canceled it.
I'm glad Brazil didn't work out for him. I mean, I'm confident, and I know I look good, but at the same time, whatever. You had other plans. I had other plans. I was in a relationship at the time, and so yeah, that's how we met.
What was our first date? People sometimes want to know. We don't necessarily get asked this a lot, but what was our first date? Being from different cultures.
You remember the restaurant? No, was that our first date?
We went to, I remember it.
Yeah.
I know you remember it.
I remember it, but right after that, it was like 2 dates in 1 week. Yeah, so I get those two kind of mixed up. I don't know if it was the house first or it was like.
It was Ruby Tuesday. And
I had the blackened fish.
yeah, that you barely ate any of because you're
I
trying
was
to
trying to
impress
impress
me.
him. You know, like when I was taught, like, I don't know where I got this from, but a lady always leaves something on her plate. And so I was like trying to like.
She ate like 2 bites and
It was
admitted.
like you were like, oh, you're done. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, I'm
you
full.
know, I'm good.
I'm
you
good.
know,
And then she
at
went
I
home and
told her
ate
that.
it.
It was like, I told her it was really good. It was so good. I probably would have asked for seconds. Like now I would have like, Cole, let's get more.
Yeah,
You know, but
now we don't shy away from telling.
yeah, who cares? I got my man.
Yeah. All right. What was your family and friends' reaction to your interracial relationship? That's a good question.
Well, my grandmom, when I told her that I was dating I had a guy that was white, you know, I'm African, and like I've never brought home a white guy before. I've always dated like within my race, not like by choice or anything. It was just like that's what happened. And so I told her that I was dating someone of a different race, and she was like, okay. Well, you know, she probably didn't feel like at that time it was too serious, so she didn't know like what the outcome was going to be. But it wasn't a negative. She didn't have anything negative to say. She didn't really have anything positive to say because we were still starting off in our like the early parts of our relationship. So she just kept it chill. But there's more to that story because he ended up being like her baby, and like she would like she just loved him. And so R.I.P. grandma, but yeah, she would like talk mess to me and like Cole, what is it that do you want anything? This and that, and then like, nah, go and get him, you know, like stuff like that.
So like my family would have sort of a reaction, but at the same time it wasn't a negative reaction. It was just more of a surprise, you know, and they had to kind of get their head around it because I've always dated within my race prior, so it kind of came out of left field for them. Not that it should matter, but they had to think about it for a second. And but outside of that, you know, my family, and I can vouch for it, has been completely accepting of our relationship. There hasn't been anyone on my side of family that has, you know, presented themselves on the other side of the fence.
It just worked for us, which is like, I mean, you hear stories about other couples in interracial relationships where like you have a family member that's not in agreement with it. But for us and for our situation, everything just worked. And that was all, like that also contributed to why our relationship ran so smoothly and we ended up getting married, was just the positive feedback or the negative feedback that we got from family and friends. So
yeah, it was very accepting, and it wasn't dwelled upon, so we just felt like everything was normal, and it was great.
Yeah. Hey guys, first off, if you're liking this video, go ahead and give us a big thumbs up. Drop a comment below on your experience if you've ever dated outside your race, or if you had any additional questions for us. And also, if you haven't done so, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell so you will be notified when we get new videos.
What was one of the first differences you noticed in each other's cultures?
In your culture, when I first met your family, I can say I'm used to atmosphere within my family gatherings where we're more outgoing, you know, it's louder for sure, and like those types of environment. We're dancing, we're laughing, we're playing around. But then when I met your family, it was more like a conservative, like, so how are you doing? And so I have to like put on like, I don't know if it's a front, but like I'm generally quiet when I meet new people. So like I was fine with that, and I'm just used to like family.
You got interrogated?
Not really. I did not. I didn't get interrogated. I didn't feel like that way at all. They just made me feel at home, like especially your dad. Like when because I met your dad first prior to meeting your mom, and I remember your sister and I, we went out one day, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared to meet him. She's like, nah, like my dad is the nicest person like you'll ever meet. don't even feel that way. And so I met him, and he was just like, well, you're welcome anytime. You can come up here anytime. And so, like, that warmth, I felt it, but it was just like a little too quiet for me. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
What about you?
I don't know. I just felt like I was excited to be around your family because they like seeing me. I don't know why, but they, they showed me a lot of respect and actually were interested in me. So, I felt like I was of value when I was in the house. So family was accepting. And then I also noticed culturally, they have big parties like she was talking about. They're outgoing when they get together. And so they like to have a lot of big parties. And one thing they do is cook a lot of food. And Na still carries over that trait today.
Look, when I was younger, we cooked, and that's the thing in our culture is you don't cook for just one day. You cook to have leftovers. You cook for people to take home and things like that. So that's what I'm used to. That's what I'm accustomed to. I'm learning to cook smaller portions and smaller dishes.
Learning.
Yeah, I'm learning. And like today his dad came over.
7 years later. Yeah.
Yeah. Today his dad came over and I had like this big platter of sandwiches that we got food for tomorrow.
I'm like, this is ridiculous.
He said, oh, let's just tell him we didn't know it was going to be that much, because he's embarrassed of like my portion sizes with his family, so he has to like downplay. I'm like, no, just tell him like this shows respect. This shows that we went all out for him. We were happy to have him. We got a bunch of food. He can take some home or whatever, but I'm just used to that.
Yeah. And in their culture, they take food home before the meal
Oh,
starts.
yeah, they don't do takeouts. I'm like, what the hell? I was like, I remember I asked somebody in your family, like, they were like, are you coming? I was like, no, just put some food on the side for me. And I never got the food. And I was like, what? Like, do they hate me or something? Like, should we have gone over there? But it's just a cultural thing where they just don't do that, which is so weird.
Yeah, no takeout food.
You have more to take home with my family than you eat when you're there.
That's how you do it.
And then like
I eat it there. I only eat when I'm there, and I don't take food with me.
Yeah,
because that's the way I am.
When you're cooking, you automatically put the takeout food on the side. Like, okay, no, you put your portion so people can't take your portion home. So you like, okay, this is for them, and then this is for me here. I'm gonna go and hide it so nobody can like take it home.
Yeah, I cook for you.
Yeah, there you go. And then like when the food is all gone, you're like, oh, do you have any more food? Like, no, it's all gone. And then you still see people coming out the kitchen. I'm like, what the hell is happening?
Where's the secret stash?
There.
Secret stash.
Yeah, so we like.
But
that's just
anyway, the food culture is different, and that was interesting.
Yeah.
But who asked who out?
That's, I think,
kind of an interesting question.
Yeah, because on the day, it was me. I was the aggressor in the whole thing.
Oh,
and I'm going to tell you how it happened. I had a birthday party that I invited like all of the co-workers to, and Cole came. We had a dinner and then we went out to the club. At that time, I was dating someone. We were at the tail end of our relationship where I kind of felt like it wasn't going anywhere. I had no commitment or whatever. And so we went out, and you want to make sure your friends feel comfortable. So I made sure like I grabbed everyone, I danced, like make sure everyone feels comfortable. Like if they want to dance, dance with them or whatever. So Cole got really tipsy at the party, and
I had a couple.
He came to my boyfriend at the time, and he was like, man, she looks hot. He was like, doesn't she look hot? And I was like so nervous. I was like, and my boyfriend at the time was like, yeah, she looks good. Yeah, like, move, dude, like back up. And so like we were just, then I danced with Cole, but it wasn't in that, it was just like, that kind of way, like, let's have fun. Yeah. And he was like, you look really great tonight, Nah. He was like, let's do brunch. I was like, okay.
I can't ever like picture myself doing those things.
You were
but
there.
it's because when I let loose a little
he's
bit,
like,
you know.
"Oh, good.
But
Let's do brunch
yeah,
sometime." I was like, okay.
apparently I'm fun when I have a couple.
Yeah, and so I was just like, after that, my ex and I, we kind of like broke it off, and then Cole and I, we met on a couple of occasions after that, like within group settings, and I kind of just got this vibe from him that he kind of liked me, and I kind of liked him too. So I told one of my coworkers, I was like, I think I like Cole. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah. She's like, all right, we're gonna find out if he. I said, I think he has a girlfriend. I don't know. And so she was like, let's find out.
She was like the matriarch of the place. Like,
yeah, that was our work mom.
Yeah, the work mom.
Yeah.
And so Na and her would always chat.
Yeah.
She came up to me and she asked me if I had a girlfriend. And when I said no, she was all surprised.
She yelled out. She was like, she didn't ask you that. Remember, you came to my desk and we were talking about somebody's birthday we were going to go to. And she was like, you know what? You guys will make a cute couple. I was like, nah, he got a girlfriend. And Cole was like, no, I don't. And I was like, okay. So then I was like, well, here's my number for like the party or whatever. I'll text you, and everything. So I didn't know what to text him. So I was out on a Friday and I was like, hold on, let me find something to text. I was like, hey, can I, or whatever, I was like, how are the calls at work? What are the nature of the calls at work? And so, like, just to get a conversation started with him. But
yeah, a couple awkward texts later, we're together, and
yeah, we went to Ruby Tuesdays.
Yeah. So, all right, another common question that interracial couples will get is, do you get funny looks when you go out? Right? Have you been asked that?
I mean, I haven't been. I'm saying yes to the looks. Like, yeah, okay. For sure. Like, they just look at me, especially now with Kenzie. They'll look at Kenzie. They'll look at me or Cole.
I'm saying even without Kenzie. Let's say without Kenzie.
Yeah, because we're in Wisconsin, and they're like, they say like there are lots of interracial couples here, but there are certain parts of Wisconsin that are a lot smaller than the largest cities, and so we'll go on dates there, and we would get looks like, okay. No one is bold enough to come up and say, you shouldn't be together, like nothing. Like, I'm sorry I did that voice, but we get the stares.
That's funny.
Yeah. You just get the stares. So.
Yeah, like I'll notice out of the corner of my eye a lot of times when I'm walking in, behind let's say we're walking into a restaurant and I'll be walking behind her, but out of the corner of my eye, I'll see people like kind of like spin their necks like a little extra long,
First off,
rather than just
they're
look and see who's coming
when
in
I'm
like
walking
this.
in, period, because I'm just like, bam.
Yeah, because I'm looking.
And they're like, like that. That's not.
Yeah, there shouldn't be a reason why people aren't, or at least men aren't looking at
they're
you.
looking at how beautiful and handsome we are, and we're thinking, oh, they're looking because we're. It
has to be.
Yeah, it has to be.
But
it can't be
if it wasn't, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like all I'm saying is that I do see people's necks go a little bit further than a typical who's walking in look. And so it's just like a little extra follow, and that's what I notice. Mm-hmm. And so that's that.
Yeah.
Right? What are some of the reoccurring issues you have to deal with being in an interracial relationship? Like for me, again, just example of going into like a restaurant, right? My wife will have gotten there a couple minutes before me, and she'll tell the person that her husband's going to be coming in a couple of minutes. Well, I show up and say my wife is here, I'm supposed to meet her, but the same person won't connect the dots that I'm with her. Mm-hmm. And so they'll be like, I don't know. Yeah. and a lot of times they'll see one of us enter the door, greet them, and then the next person will walk in, after holding the door open, and I'll walk in and they'll greet me separately,
Like, can I help you? And then I'll like, yeah, looking for a table for two or, whatever. And then they're like, okay, just wait right here. And then Cole will walk in like a few seconds after me. Can I help you? It's like, I'm with her. And, we've had that vice versa.
Yeah. What are the assumptions people make about your relationship and what's the reality? Like, what are some things that they get wrong with just assuming when looking at us?
That he is my savior. Cole came and saved the day. And it's like people assume that my success and my drive is based on like my relationship with Cole, and Cole is the one that's doing this, Cole is doing that. When in actuality, it's because I no longer want to be in the space where I was previously. So I push myself. I continuously push myself. Heck, sometimes I push him. Like, I'm that person, but I'm like kind of diminished a little bit, and my efforts are a little bit diminished because they think like everything is because of him.
Yeah, you really came from, not to be negative, but you really came from nothing, right? You didn't have much at one point going for you, and then you put the drive in, you put the urgency in, found a path in sales, and just your passion to do better in life, and you're able to achieve your goals. And in fact, in all honesty, she's surpassed me to some level at this point. But I'm I'm super competitive.
We're still in it together. We're still. Now it's more of us working together, and regardless of like where I am, I feel like we're both there. But I had to get myself in that mental space, and in that, like, I felt like I had to get myself together to be able to accept a relationship like this, because I wasn't in the mental space that I needed to be in to like accept any type of relationship. And it was only when I pushed myself, challenged myself, I got into a position that I loved, that I excelled in. I started, I met Cole and other people, things like that. So I wasn't down in the dumps when I met him. I was doing pretty well for myself, and I overcome my issues, and
Yeah, you were progressing, but you were like on a different plane than I was on. Like I had gotten a good good childhood experience, and life was fairly easy in general, and I got to the point where like I kind of expect certain things or certain level of success, whereas she wanted it, but it didn't necessarily expect that she I don't know the right word, went after. She was hungry for it, and so that made her push harder and find it.
It's no fault to nobody but myself, because I got like the chips were stacked up kind of like against me, with my mom passing early, and things like that. A lot of things that happened within my childhood in that regards kind of affected me. I didn't understand like how it affected me until later on in life, once I started going through like therapy and looking back at those times. But I overcame those things. So like he had less to overcome than me, and being that we ended up on the same path, at that time, it was like really good. I'm glad that we did. I'm kind of tangent to like another thing, but that's the gist of it. I feel sometimes that my accomplishments and my drive is diminished, and they look at Cole as the savior.
Yeah, they look at me as responsible, the guy that's probably making all the money.
And that's in society, yeah.
And my wife makes more than me, as far as income, and I'm not shy to say that. I think she does an exceptional job.
That's one thing I appreciate about you too, is that I do, you initially made more than me, and I've kind of like surpassed you in that regards, but yet you're still like a cheerleader for me. You're like, go, like,
I'm not a cheerleader.
You're not. You're competitive, but you're still
I'm a player, but I'm your cheerleader.
Yeah, you're my cheerleader. Okay, whatever.
I don't sit on the sidelines. I play.
No, he plays. He plays because we're up there, but at the same time, like you don't make me feel bad, and and so I have to be conscious of things like that too, where because I am making more, I don't want you to feel like insignificant as my mate. So I kind of have to like check myself. But you make me like, nah, I'm good. Like you keep doing you. Like,
I'm happy to, support her and push her up. So any way I can. I mean, she's already doing it on her own. But okay, another question that we get is, how will your child or kids represent themselves in life? Like, what race will they represent themselves as? What culture will they take on? I guess that's kind of the question.
I guess it's not really an issue now like it was in the past, I think, in regards to like an identity for interracial kids, because I feel like nowadays there are more and more people in interracial relationships where there are more children that identify themselves as neither black or white, or they identify as both and they consider themselves interracial. So I know with Kenzie, she knows she's interracial. She'll tell you, I'm black mixed with white, I'm African mixed with German. She tends to identify more as black, and I feel like it's based on the environment that she's in as well, because she can tell, like, she goes to a predominantly white school, and she knows like she's a darker color than her friends, so she identifies in that way as black. I don't know what it would be if she goes to like a school with like more diversity, which we're planning on putting her in, but whatever she chooses, if she wants to say she's white, she can say she's white. I mean, if she wants to say, right now she's like saying she's black, so I'm like, okay girl, yes, all that, but then I have to be conscious of his feelings too, so I have to remind her, yeah, you're black, but at the same time you're also white.
Yeah, I just don't get like how we classify everyone as black when they have mixed race. And it's not that I'm sad.
Why can't they be mixed?
It's not that I'm sad or disgruntled in the fact that she's black on paper. But why is there not another box? And I think this world is getting to that place. In fact, I've seen some employers in the business world, like through employment
why
records.
does she have to choose which one? Why can't she say, now there's other, but
now they have like multi-race. You can check a box that says multi-race or multiple races if you don't want to classify as one. And so I just like that, the way the world's going, because then it gives our child a chance to decide for herself how she wants to identify. And it won't hurt our feelings any which way, whatever she chooses. But I just like the idea that we're moving on in a culture to realize that there are a lot of biracial children, and we don't want to put this emphasis that they don't fit in a box anymore. So it's really cool that we're moving in the right direction.
Yep, I like that. And I remember when she was born, like they automatically checked black on it. And I was cool with it, but then it also made me think, like, why do you see the dad here, you see the mom here, you check black? But it's just a way of society, and it is what it is. And like Cole said, they're moving forward, and we don't want her to have to choose one or the other and feel like she's like making one parent feel bad over the other. So I mean, in certain parts of her life or certain experiences in her life, she may identify with one more than the other, and I'm totally fine with that. I mean, I'm good. Like back in the day, I'd probably been like, well, like it's gonna be tough, people are gonna make fun of you, this and that, but I don't see that happening. It may happen, and she'll be prepared for it because she's strong, but whatever. Be in any relationship you feel, as long as you're feeling respected and you're feeling loved, and you have that mutual agreement, it's fine. Whether it be black, I never saw myself dating anybody outside of my race. I'm glad I was always open to it, and I'm glad I met Cole. But just do what makes you happy. You can't say just because statistics is trending in that direction that that. It's still like whatever you choose. Love is love.
Love is love. Somebody's already paved the path for us and for you to feel free to enter into a relationship like this. So if that's where love is, you go for it. But that's really how we got together, I think, is just kind of following our hearts. And I just realized this is kind of funny. I got a white shirt on and you have a black shirt